Hey there, and welcome to Beyond Survival, A Pathway to Peace. I'm your host, Naomi Stanchfield. If you're living with the effects of trauma or PTSD, you're in the right place. I know what it's like to live in survival mode, always waiting for the next shoe to drop. For years, I searched for peace, for a way to feel safe in my own body again. That search became the foundation of the work I do today as a trauma-informed coach. This podcast is here to support you as you begin your own journey towards a calmer, more peaceful life. Each week, we'll explore real tools, heartfelt conversations, and simple practices to help you heal, one step at a time. You don't have to walk this path alone. Let's take it together. Everyone has emotions, and we all think that we are truly experiencing our emotions. The truth is, most of us who have experienced trauma do everything we can to actively avoid feeling our emotions at all costs. At some point, we become so disconnected from our emotions and our body that it becomes hard to even name what emotion we are feeling. That's when emotions become scary and start causing anxiety and a fear of experiencing emotions. If that's you, you are not broken or too much. Your nervous system has been doing its best to protect you for a very long time. And one of the ways that it learned to protect you was by turning down the volume on your feelings. For many trauma survivors, emotions start to feel like danger signals instead of information. So, of course, our body tries to shut them off or push them away. You might notice this showing up as feeling numb or flat most of the time, and then suddenly getting hit with a wave of emotions that feels way too big. Or maybe you swing between feeling everything all at once and then feeling nothing at all. You might have a hard time answering simple questions like, "How are you feeling?" beyond, "I'm fine," or "I don't know." If that resonates, you are definitely not alone. However, emotions are nothing to be fearful of. They actually serve an evolutionary purpose. They are meant to promote survival and reproductive success by motivating behaviors for threats and opportunities. Emotions are like your internal dashboard. They light up to let you know what matters, what feels safe, and where you might need to care or change. When you start seeing them as signals instead of problems, they become guides on your healing journey instead of something you have to fight against. Fear is meant to alert you and help you escape danger, activating your fight or flight response. Anger is meant to help you overcome obstacles, providing you with energy to confront and break through challenges that prevent you from achieving your goals. Sadness or sorrow is meant to signal a need for change or comfort. It promotes social bonding and connection. Joy is meant to help you seek out beneficial situations. Love and guilt play a role in relationships, commitment, and reproduction. And shame, regret, and gratitude help to navigate social situations, encourage cooperation, and punish those who violate social norms. To slow this down a bit, let's walk through a few of these in everyday life. Fear might show up when you get a weird feeling walking to your car at night, and it nudges you to lock your doors, walk a little faster, or call a friend while you walk. Anger might appear when somebody repeatedly crosses your boundaries, and that surge of energy is actually trying to help you say no or create distance. Sadness can arrive after a loss or a big change, and while it feels heavy, it's often inviting you to slow down, seek comfort, or let yourself be supported by people you trust. Joy might pop up in simple things like a warm drink, a good song, or your pet cuddling with you, and it nudges you to keep moving toward what brings you life. Even emotions like guilt and shame, when they're not overwhelming or misdirected, can be a part of how we navigate relationships and stay aligned with our values. As you hear these emotions, if it feels okay, just notice what happens in your body. Do you tense up when you hear the word anger? Do you feel a little softer when you hear the words joy or love? There's nothing to fix here, just gently noticing how your system responds to each emotion is already part of the work. Emotions are automatic physical and physiological reactions that are critical for protection against immediate threats, sometimes happening before our conscious thoughts have even developed. This is part of what leads them to be so scary. You feel things in your body before your mind has a chance to fully process what's going on. When you become scared of your emotions, you try to avoid them, suppress them, ignore them, and slowly become so disconnected you don't even know what you're feeling. For many people with trauma histories, the nervous system has spent years, sometimes even decades, in survival mode, constantly scanning for danger, bracing for the next bad thing, or trying to shut everything down just to get through the day. In that state, big emotions can feel like a threat in themselves because your body remembers times when feeling something did not feel safe. So if you find yourself thinking, I can't handle this, or if I start crying, I'll never stop, that makes sense in the context of what you've lived through. Your system learned that numbing out, disconnecting, or pushing emotions away helped you survive. The healing work we're talking about here is not forcing you to just feel more. It's gently teaching your body and mind that emotions can be felt in smaller, safer ways now. But let's be honest for a minute. It isn't always a traumatic event that causes us to fear our emotions. Society, your parents, culture, and even television play a role in causing people to think that they shouldn't feel their emotions. Growing up, if I expressed sadness, anger, or fear through tears, I was constantly told to stop crying or I'll give you something to cry for. As a child, I knew what that meant. I would be spanked if I didn't suppress my feelings and get over it. So I learned to push those feelings down. Just like Elsa from the movie Frozen, conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. And I know that every single one of you have heard big girls or big boys don't cry, or heard a man being told to be a man if he was showing any emotion. Maybe you also heard things like, you're too sensitive, you're being dramatic, or it's not that big of a deal, just get over it. You might remember standing in a room, crying or scared, and seeing the adult in front of you get annoyed or angry instead of comforting. In those moments, many of us decided, often without words, my emotions aren't safe here, or I'm only acceptable when I'm quiet and okay. That's not because there was something wrong with you. It's because you were adapting to your environment the best way you knew how. Over time, these messages teach you that your feelings are a problem to be fixed, not signals to be listened to. As kids, we depend on our caregivers for safety and belonging. So when our emotions are shamed or punished, we learn to abandon our feelings to keep our relationships. Your story will look different from mine. Maybe you became the strong one who never cried, or the funny one who covered everything with jokes, or the invisible one who tried not to need anything. These are all intelligent survival strategies. The work now is to gently unlearn the belief that feelings equal weakness or danger and relearn that feelings can actually be part of your safety. Besides the effects that I mentioned earlier, suppressing your emotions also have negative physical and mental health consequences, as well as affect our behavior and your social life. Mental health effects can include increased anxiety and depression, higher levels of stress, intense reactions, and emotional numbness and disconnection. Physical health effects can include cardiovascular issues, digestive issues, weakened immune system, and chronic headaches and fatigue. Behavioral and social effects include avoidance of people, situations, and topics, maladaptive coping skills, and impaired relationships. Let's put a few of these into real life terms. Emotional suppression can look like lying awake at night, replaying conversations in your head, but during the day you insist that you're fine. It can show up as snapping at your loved ones over something small because the emotions you've pushed down all day finally spill over. It can also look like feeling disconnected in conversations, zoning out, or canceling plans at the last minute because it just feels like too much. Physically, you might notice chronic tension in your shoulders or jaw, stomach issues that seem to flare with stress, or feeling tired all the time, even when you've technically slept. Relationally, it can be harder to let people in, to ask for help, or to tolerate closeness because any emotional intensity, good or bad, feels overwhelming. If you recognize yourself in any of this, it doesn't mean that you've failed. It means that your body has been trying very hard to protect you, and it might be time to offer it some new options. If everything we've discussed so far hasn't made you want to get back in touch with your emotions, maybe this will. Getting in touch with your emotions is crucial to the healing process. It allows you to process and release feelings that have been trapped inside of you. And it can shift your nervous system from survival mode into a calmer state of being. Processing your emotions is also a form of self-compassion, which we talked about a few weeks ago. This act of processing your emotions will help you to start trusting yourself again. Do you see how every step we take down this path intertwines and compounds the effects of healing? When you begin to gently notice, name, and feel your emotions, you're sending your system a new message. I don't have to abandon myself to be safe anymore. Processing emotions doesn't mean you sit in pain forever. It means you give these feelings a chance to move through instead of forcing them to live in your body indefinitely. Over time, this can create more space inside of you, more ease, more clarity, and more capacity to be present in your life. Think of each small moment of turning towards your feelings as a little act of loyalty to yourself. You're reteaching your mind and body that your internal world matters, that your needs and experiences are worthy of attention. That's a powerful form of self-compassion, and it builds trust with yourself step by step. So how do we start to acknowledge and process our emotions? Let's discuss some practices you can implement to help you with this process. These are best done while you're feeling the emotion, but most can be done soon after if it's not feasible to do them in the moment. Now, real quick, before we dive into these practices, remember, you do not have to do all of these. In fact, please don't. Choose one or two that feel the most doable or the least threatening and start there. You get to move at your own pace. If at any point something feels too activating or unsafe, it's absolutely okay to pause, stop, or come back later. Your sense of safety matters more than getting it right. The first practice is thought awareness. Notice and write down your thoughts as you're experiencing strong emotions. The CBT triangle teaches that your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. During the strong emotions, identify the following. 1, the situation. 2, your thoughts about the situation. 3, your bodily feelings. Where are you feeling that emotion right now? And 4, your behavior or actions after those thoughts and feelings. All of this brings awareness and insight into your emotions and where you can intervene if necessary. Let's make this a tiny practice you can try. Next time you feel a strong emotion, maybe anxiety, anger, or shame, see if you can pause just for a moment and ask yourself, What am I telling myself right now? It might be something like, I'm not safe, I'm going to mess this up, or they're going to leave me. As you notice that thought, gently check in with your body. Where do I feel this? What does it feel like right now? Tight, heavy, hot? You don't have to change anything yet. We're simply shining a light on what's already there. If you like journaling, you can write this down in 4 short lines: situation, thought, body sensation, action, or urge. For example, situation. I got a text that went unanswered. Thought. They must be mad at me. Body. Tight chest, fluttery stomach. Urge. To apologize or send more messages. This kind of awareness is the first step in being able to interrupt old patterns and choose a different response. The next practice is body mapping. This practice is where you visually represent areas on your body that you feel emotions, memories, pain, and healing. You do this on an image of a body. Making your emotions visual and tangible fosters self-awareness and understanding. This can reduce disassociation and promote safety. Knowing what emotion you're feeling based on where and how it shows up in your body makes them less elusive and scary. To try body mapping, you can print out a simple outline of a body or just draw a basic stick figure, nothing fancy. Then, when you notice an emotion, you can color, shade, or mark that area where you feel it. Maybe anxiety is a buzzing in your chest, sadness is a heaviness in your shoulders, and anger is heat in your hands. Over time, you start to recognize your own map, and emotions become less like vague, scary clouds and more like specific sensations that you can work with. If you're listening right now and it feels safe, you might take a moment to just imagine where in your body you tend to feel stress or sadness. You don't have to draw anything yet, simply noticing it. Oh, it's usually in my stomach, or it's always in my throat. That's a powerful beginning. This can be especially helpful if you often feel numb because it gives you a gentle way to reconnect with your body without forcing anything. Journaling is another really good practice. Tracking your daily thoughts, emotions, and behaviors can help you spot patterns, triggers, and consequences. It can help separate fact from interpretation and bring clarity to emotional experiences. If journaling feels intimidating, think small. You don't need pages and pages. Even 1 or 2 sentences a day can make a huge difference. You might try prompts like, right now I feel, or in my body I noticed, or one thing that was hard or easy for me today was. The goal isn't to write something profound, it's to give your inner experience a place to land outside of your mind. You can also keep a simple emotional log where you note the date, time, the emotion, the situation, and what you did to cope. Over time, you may start to see patterns like certain people, places, or times of day that are especially triggering, or coping strategies that help versus ones that leave you feeling worse. That awareness helps you make more compassionate choices for yourself. Body scanning is another great one. This one works really well with body mapping. Body scanning involves slowly scanning your body from head to toe and noticing areas of tension, comfort, or any physical sensations. This helps to build awareness of how and where emotions manifest in the body. If it feels okay, let's do a super short body scan together. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze if that feels safer. Start by noticing the top of your head. Then slowly bring your attention down, your forehead, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Notice any tension, warmth, or numbness without judging it. Then gently move through your chest, stomach, hips, legs, all the way down to your feet. If you notice an area that feels tight or uncomfortable, you don't have to fix it. You might just say to yourself, I see you, or it makes sense that this part of me is tense. If any part of your body feels too intense or unsafe to focus on, you're always allowed to skip it and return your attention to a neutral or more comfortable place, like your hands or your feet. Remember, you're in charge. The next practice is mindful breathing. Engaging in slow, deep breathing helps to anchor you in the present moment and can reduce emotional overwhelm by calming your nervous system. When you are less overwhelmed by your emotions, you are able to feel and process them more efficiently. A simple way to start mindful breathing is to lengthen your exhale slightly more than your inhale. For example, you might breathe in through your nose for a count of 4 and out through your mouth for a count of 6. If you'd like, you can try a few breaths like that now, at your own pace. Notice how the air feels going in and out, and let your shoulders soften just a little bit on each exhale. This kind of breathing gently signals to your nervous system, we're not in immediate danger right now, which can take the edge off intense emotions. You don't have to feel instantly calm for it to be working. Think of it as giving your body a series of small reminders that it's allowed to come down from high alert. The next practice is touch. Safe, gentle self-touch, such as hugging yourself, rubbing your arms, or placing a hand over your heart, can help soothe distressing feelings while staying present in your body. Combining this with mindful breathing is a great way to calm overwhelm and anxiety when processing your emotions. If it feels right, you might try placing one hand over your heart and the other on your belly, or wrapping your arms around yourself in a gentle self-hug. As you do that, you can pair it with supportive phrases like, it makes sense that I feel this way, or I'm here with you. This can be especially grounding if you often leave your body when emotions get big. You can use small, repetitive motions like rubbing your arms, squeezing a pillow, or pressing your feet into the ground to anchor yourself when you feel overwhelmed. Again, if any of this doesn't feel good or safe, you can stop at any time. The goal is not to force comfort, but to experiment with ways of offering your body a sense of warmth and support. Next, we have meditation. There's a lot of great guided meditations out there on identifying and processing emotions. As always, remember that meditation takes practice. It may seem hard or silly at first, or it may bring forth a lot of emotional responses. That's okay. Do as much or as little as feels safe for you and keep practicing. It will get easier with time. If traditional sit still and clear your mind meditation feels overwhelming, you're not alone, especially if you have a trauma history. You might find it more helpful to start with grounding meditations that focus on your senses, like noticing 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Or you might try short, guided practices that are specifically designed for emotional awareness and nervous system regulation. The key with meditation is to remember that you're always allowed to open your eyes, move your body, or stop completely if you feel too activated. You can think of meditation less as emptying your mind and more as gently tuning your attention towards yourself with curiosity and kindness, even if only for a couple of minutes. Combining some or all of these practices will provide a holistic approach and will help you gradually build the ability to safely feel and process your emotions. This will allow you to reconnect with yourself on multiple levels and promote deeper healing. You don't have to master any of these tools. Small, imperfect attempts absolutely count. Maybe this week you just try noticing your thoughts once during a tough moment, or you take 3 mindful breaths before bed. Those tiny actions are how your system slowly learns that emotions can be visited and felt without swallowing you whole. If you're not sure where to start, you might choose one practice based on how you tend to experience your emotions. If you mostly feel numb or disconnected, body scanning and body mapping might be a gentle way to come back into contact with yourself. If you feel flooded by thoughts, journaling and thought awareness might feel safer. If your body feels easily overwhelmed, mindful breathing and self-touch might be grounding entry points. If your emotions ever feel scary or overwhelming, just remember, emotions are not obstacles, but guides on your healing journey. Emotions are messengers, not enemies. You don't have to love them or enjoy them, but you can learn to listen to what they're trying to tell you with a little more compassion and a little less fear. Every time you choose to tune towards your feelings, even for a moment, you're choosing yourself. And that choice, over and over again, is what creates real, lasting healing. Thank you so much for joining me today on Beyond Survival, A Pathway to Peace. I'm so grateful to walk alongside you on this journey. Remember, healing isn't about perfection. It's about returning to yourself one small step at a time. Every time you show up for yourself like this, you're building something beautiful, a life beyond trauma. Healing is a journey, and every step, no matter how small, is meaningful. Be gentle with yourself along the way, and remember, you don't have to do it alone. If you're finding things especially hard right now, please don't hesitate to reach out for professional support. You don't have to do this alone. Help is out there and healing is possible. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone on their own path. Also, if you found value in today's episode, I invite you to connect with me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Beyond Survival Pathway. There, you'll find more insights, encouragement, and community support. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you'll be with us for the next part of the journey. And consider joining our Facebook book club, Beyond Survival, Healing Through Stories. It's a welcoming place to explore transformation through shared stories and connect with others on the path to healing. Until next time, keep putting one foot in front of the other. You're not walking alone, and the path to peace is unfolding with every step. Let's keep walking this journey together. Take care, and I'll meet you back here soon.